Good morning. You're listening to My Rapids Real Estate Show on AM 1320 WFHR, your weekly radio show focusing on real estate, the market, and everything related to housing in central Wisconsin. So welcome back. I'm Ben.
And I'm Carri Nikolai.
And we're with Coldwell Banker Seward Realtors here in Wisconsin Rapids.
And you are my licensed assistant.
And you are the agent. Fantastic.
Excellent.
So in the studio today, we wanted to branch out, and I know we've had a lot of people from the community, but we wanted to get some of the businesses who help build the community as well, and reference directly with, being a homeowner. So we've got Deb from Eron Gee, Herman Plumbing. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No, not a problem.
So how's the best way for people to get a hold of you guys over at Eron Gee?
Well, we have our main telephone number, which is 715-423-7430. We also get some people that send in for email requests, which is erongee@wctc.net. And once in a while, they pop up on Facebook, and we catch them. So,
that's great that you guys have a Facebook page.
Yes.
We're
could
going
be
to
a
have to
little
check
more
that
up
out.
to date, but we're trying.
It's one of those things where it's a love or hate relationship when it comes to a business Facebook page, because once you start it, you have to keep up with it. And then it turns into its own animal, or it just is I have it. I don't really use it. I check it maybe once every 2 months and it does what it does.
No,
so,
I agree.
Just trying to keep up with it of, hey, this is what we did this week or something like that, of trying to build that into your schedule of the maintenance side of Facebook.
Yeah, but it's also cool that we might, get to see a little bit of the behind the scenes, the products that you guys offer and what, specials have come up or are coming up. So it's really neat.
Right.
So originally I always thought Eron Gee was electrical, and that is very much not true. Correct?
Right.
Okay.
It's always been plumbing and hydronic heating only, not forced air.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you deal with the boiler systems, stuff like that in the homes. Okay, well, that's really good to know, because I didn't know that. Like I said, I always thought it was an electrical company, and I probably have called a couple times asking if you did stuff with electric
We get a lot of people that do. They mix us up with econ.
Oh, yep.
And that's where the mix-up comes once in a while.
So what's the history? Y'all started in the 1940s?
1949, my grandfather, which was Phil Eron, and his partner was Grant Gee, and they started the Eron Gee Plumbing and Heating. Then my father took it over in 1964, and my brother Jim and I took it over in 1995.
Oh, wow.
And then in 2002, we bought out Herman's Plumbing and Heating.
Okay.
And that's where we are today.
That makes sense. I was always curious where Herman's came into it.
Yep, that's it. They wanted to sell, and Faye, who was one of the original owners, she was getting a little elderly, and Scott wanted to move, so we purchased them.
And brought over their technicians as well?
Brought over their plumbers and moved their office, which was on the east side, over to our office on the west side.
So your location is behind IGA?
Yeah, kitty corner, kind of behind IGA, not
so
directly behind.
General Dollar.
Further, we'd be further west.
Okay.
If anybody knows where the old Park and Rec building was, we are right now, matter of fact, we own that whole block area then, next to the Park and Rec, including the Park and Rec building.
Okay. Excellent. So good. So heating and cooling, it's always...
No cooling.
Oh, no cooling. Okay, so just heating.
Just heating.
Heating and plumbing. I will get this straight. Probably...
It confuses a lot of people. It
does. Usually, it's easy to confuse me some days, but that's all right. So with the plumbing part... So if I'm redoing my bathroom and I need the bathroom all replumbed, is that something you guys do?
We do. We do bathroom remodels. We do new homes. We do, we call it light commercial. We do a lot in the school district, Mid-State Tech, various other different corporations in town and that. And either just maintenance, repairing things that are broke, or like you said, replacing or building new home, the plumbing and all that. So
okay, so kitchen sinks too. Trying to just the plumbing for the kitchen sink is what you would be hired to do. You don't do the full kitchen remodel.
We don't do the full kitchen
You just
remodel,
do
but we
the-
do have carpenters that we've worked with that that we can
have
do
come
the whole
in.
project so
Okay.
that we are available to take care of everything for them.
Okay, well, good.
So
And then with my background over at the Hotel Mead doing maintenance stuff, it was really cool because back in the 70s, Eron Gee did a lot of the plumbing upfit when the building was built.
right, we did the original, the tower, I don't know how many
The-
story that tower
It has
is.
5 stories
Okay, that one, and then when they remodeled the West Wing, we also did that plumbing.
in the late 90s.
Right.
Yeah. So whenever I had a problem and it's just, couldn't quite figure it out, I'm like, got to call in the old pros, and y'all knew it. And so you sent over the right people. And
Right, because a lot of them, our employees have been there a long time. We don't have high turnover or anything, so
how
pretty
many,
much
employees,
they remember.
how many employees do you have?
Well, we're quite small, actually. There's 4 guys that are out in the field. Also, Jim is a master plumber, so he can go out in the field also, too, so he can fill in, too. Otherwise, he and I are in the office a lot of the time.
Okay. Any plans on handing it off to the next generation?
No, he has a daughter, and she's an engineer in the medical field, so that's not going anywhere, and I don't have any children, so...
All right.
So hopefully somebody will buy it out when we're ready to retire.
Excellent.
Hopefully that won't be for a couple of years yet. You guys
Well, I
are
hope
still
not.
young and spunky.
Oh, well, thank you.
So residential, you said you work with some carpenters too. Do you guys do wells and septic or?
We do wells, septics, also jetting and cleaning of pipes for plugged lines,
Okay.
cameraing. We have a camera that can go into your sewer line to
See what's
see
blocking
if there's
it.
roots in there or whatever, that type of system. So we pretty much encompass almost everything in the plumbing field.
Okay.
What's some of the strangest things that you've heard happen or have happened?
Oh, goodness. Think about that. It'd be interesting sometimes to see what people pull back from sewers.
Oh, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Years ago, we had kind of when women wore girdles, a lady must have decided at her office she didn't want to wear it anymore. Found that in the sewer system.
Oh, my.
Have found telephones, box cutters, people working, they fall out of their pockets,
Mm-hmm.
in they go, and
And the kids' toys.
yeah,
Probably a lot of
kids'
kids'
toys
toys.
are famous. Yeah,
Yes.
kids are famous for putting anything down there.
Mm-hmm.
G.I. Joe also has the naval department, so the Navy has to go,
That's very true.
seek, search, and destroy.
Exactly.
I know with some of the restaurants and the grease traps, so when a restaurant washes pots and pans, there's a trap that helps collect and separate the grease, and sometimes those get missed or overflown and then into the sewer system, and all that stuff is just, it's amazing how much it can collect and stop up. Now, even at a house here, now we're in the country now on a septic, and I'm a little bit more cognizant of what I put down the drain just because of things like that.
But you do want to be careful, even if you're in the city, about putting it down, because it's going into the city, and eventually it gets with a wastewater treatment plant. And
Mhm.
depending on what you put in there, like sometimes people have thrown medications in there, and that can kind of screw them up at the wastewater treatment plant because they're
Right.
monitoring that level of whatever they're checking and all that, and they just don't want that kind of stuff coming through down to it. So
Sure.
you don't want to be dumping grease down your drains at home neither. That it'll solidify and eventually you'll have a problem.
Is that the treatment end of things? It's all about bacteria, right?
Right.
So you got to keep those microbes healthy and happy.
In your septics for sure. You want to keep that going.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, water heaters.
We do a lot of water heaters.
Do you do the tankless hot water heaters?
We don't do as many of those as others.
Okay.
We do once in a blue moon, but not that often. So
Okay.
those basically, because in a lot of cases, people don't want to have the maintenance that is entailed with the tankless. You have to maintain them yearly, flush them out and all that, and people don't want to have that continual maintenance.
Right.
Or if there is a long run, if the water heater's on one end of the house, we've had a situation too where bathtub was on the other end, and a bathtub gives you so much water out of it that they couldn't get enough hot water because it was such a long run. So
So
And
kind
we've seen that before too, where,
Mhm.
if it has like that whirlpool tub, that 2-person, 3-person whirlpool tub that they're trying to fill, to have a dedicated hot water heater just for that, because otherwise the runs are too long, or it's going to be cold.
Cold by the time you get it
by
filled
the time
up.
that you get it all filled up.
Exactly. And then there are, like on Whirlpool tubs, there are heaters, but they do not heat the water. They only maintain the temperature you put in. So people sometimes have a misconception of that, just turn the heater on the tub and it'll heat the water back up. Well, no, it's just going to maintain it.
Right.
Not going to go any hotter. So
It's interesting to hear that there's still the standard old school tank, with the vertical cylinder, and that's the way a lot of people are still going.
Very popular. Yeah.
I know there was rumors a bunch of years ago, maybe about 5-10 years ago, that would be on the outward path, kind of outlawed and really restricted.
Yeah, and we haven't seen that yet. So I don't know if you'll see them go away. I just don't see it in the foreseeable future. So
I think they'll get more energy efficient, though.
They did. A few years ago, they kind of modified them and added a little more insulation. And so that made them more energy efficient, to the point that years ago, people used to wrap them with like a fiberglass wrapping in it. Mm-hmm. And you really don't want to do that, because that does ruin your warranty if your heater's under warranty, because it's meant to give off whatever heat it wants. It's set up
for that.
So they don't want you to over and hold that in more.
Okay. So what if it's like a crawl space? So we've got a crawl space, dirt floor. There is really no heat down there. Would that be, wrapping it be wise, or just do you buy the hot water heater that is designed to go into that space?
Well, you'd really best if you have it in a crawl space like that, in cold environment, you want to get heat down there, because if that doesn't freeze, a pipe may freeze or whatever down there. Best bet is to try to get some sort of heat in that area.
Okay. I was going to ask you about that wrap, because we see that often in the homes, even in, I want to say like the early 90s homes, we're still seeing, that nice silver wrap that they put on that.
Yeah, it looks real nice.
It looks really nice and pretty. You cannot see when the model number or anything like that, but it's all nice, wrapped up pretty. Looks like the silver can sitting in the corner.
Right, till about the time you have to go repair it, and then you're going to make it not look so nice, because you got to figure out how old it is, if it's worth repairing, or if it's just better to replace.
Now, does your company do the install date on the hot water heater? So
yes,
once you put it in there, it's got that install date. So
it's got a tag that tells you when it was put
installed.
In. So otherwise, always coded on your serial number of your water heater is the date, the year that it was made.
It is.
It is. Different companies code it differently. So, for instance, I think it's like Ream. I think they'll start out with maybe an RH, and then they'll have 2 digits, and that's the year it was.
Oh, okay.
Bradford White does it a little different, starting out with an ABC code, and that tells you what month, and then another code for what year.
Okay.
But they all have it coded in there that
I know
there's a way to find it out.
Our home inspectors always can figure it out. I mean, they just look at it and they're like, well, it's right here. I'm like, okay, I don't know what you mean by it's right here.
And it's so tiny always.
It is.
Well, yeah. Get magnifying glass out.
So do you also sell products? Like can a normal person, right? Can just
an
any old
average
customer,
homeowner,
right? a DIY person come and buy fixtures and whatnot?
Oh, definitely. Yes. We have a lot of people that do come in just to, they'll buy the toilets or the sinks, kitchen sink faucet, if they're capable. Some people are very mechanically inclined. Others not so, which I guess is what keeps us in business, because the people that can't do it.
There are just some days it is worth writing the check and just going, it'll be done. I'll go to work. I'll come home and it's done. And I don't have to worry about anything.
Yes.
And that is a very nice thing.
It is. It is. And we have once in a while, my husband said he'd fix this, and it's been 3 weeks. And so get in here and get it fixed, because I'm sick of waiting.
Well, you don't have to remind me every 6 months.
Exactly.
It'll be eventually. I just installed the dishwasher upstairs, and then it took a little bit. The next phase was actually doing the plumbing portion of it. So I had to make sure I had the right fittings and whatnot for the drain and all that jazz.
Exactly.
So,
so what brands do you carry? So you had mentioned that you do carry, stuff in your store. So, are you a Kohler dealer or
we have
Delta?
We have Kohler. We also have, as far as fixtures, Kohler. We do Gerber, Mansfield. And then as far as faucets, we have Kohler, Delta, and Moan, which are 3 quite popular ones. And then all the accessories that I say if you want to go with it, type grab bars that can match your faucets. Colors, I guess some of the colors are like matte black is starting to come around a little bit. Brushed nickel and stainless have been around for quite a while, and they've been very popular. But still the basic chrome, the shiny chrome, because it's never going to go out and you can always match it. So So you don't have to worry about that later on if a company decides to discontinue the color. Because like for a while, say the white and the biscuit faucets to match the sinks were very popular. And then those are pretty much gone because they got replaced by the new, the
new style.
The companies want you to buy to replace.
Right. So can I get like the custom made sink? So if I've got like that really old bathroom and I need a new sink, and so I want to have like the nice, like a granite sink, and then, where they've got the drawers. So it's not a double sink, but it's space enough for a double sink. And can I order it like with a single sink?
You can order vanity so that it comes up the right way, however you want it. If you want drawers on one side, doors on the other, or flip them around. And then you can get like a molded simulated marble top type thing and adjust that bowl to wherever you want that on that top, whether it be in the middle, left or right. And if you want it 2 inches from the left, you can get it 2 inches.
I know some of the older homes, they've got that special sink where it's a small, really narrow bathroom. So it starts off in the corner at maybe 3 inches and it slowly gets wide enough for like, I call them like super small. They're only like 18 inches deep.
Right.
For the countertop itself. I mean,
and you can get the countertops and anything, but the sink varies on what size you can get in it. But there are different shapes: oval, round, square, and then some are a little bit longer. Do they still have the
clamshell?
They do not. No, that's gone.
Okay, that's gone. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going a little vintage there.
Some of those trends really needed to die. They were probably nice at the time and different, but
I'm thinking you weren't going to get it in your house.
I can always try.
We actually have a pink bathroom.
We do.
I do too.
Because our ranch house was built in the 60s. So those intense colors were really a thing back then.
Right. And that's kind of almost faded out too, to where the white, biscuit, and your almond or bone are your basic colors. Because again, they're not going to go out of style where in the 70s you had like some real bright lime greens and oranges and bright yellows and that. And,
the mustard yellow.
Yeah. And then you just can't get them anymore.
And that's probably a good thing too.
Well, yeah.
So with the heating, we'll switch over kind of now to the heating. You said that you do the boiler system. So not the forced air.
Not forced air.
But the boiler system.
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about the boilers because we still have homes in Rapids and in Port. I think a couple of them we've seen in Nakusa that have the boiler system, which a lot of people are not too familiar with.
Right. There's more forced air out there in this area. Hydronic heat is very, very popular on the East Coast. If you ever watch a lot of the home and garden shows and that, you'll see a lot of hydronic heat in those areas. And around here, you do have quite a few boilers in that. And then so either you'll have the radiation going along the outside wall of your room, and that's where the hot water is running through it, and that's what's heating your room. In newer homes, if they have it, it's all in the floor.
Oh, okay.
And so you have your shoes off, your feet are warm, you're going to feel warm. You can actually, the temperature doesn't have to be as warm in your house because you feel comfortable because
your feet are
warm and you're comfy.
Okay. So regular kind of maintenance with the boiler system. So it's an enclosed system where the water is continuously being circled. So it's a continuous moving, and it moves throughout the whole entire home, and it gets heated up and then gets sent back out.
Sent back to the boiler to reheat it. It's a closed system, so you shouldn't have to add any water unless you have a leak somewhere, which will.
Hopefully you would be able to be found out sooner
than later to
totally empty it out.
Right.
So is there any special heating elements that we have to keep an eye on?
No, basically you want to just get them cleaned out once in a while. You know, as with anything, your water heater can get dusty underneath it. If you do have animals, you can end up getting hair that gets sucked in toward the burners. So you vacuum them out type thing and get them cleaned up so that they run efficiently.
Okay. So during the summertime, obviously we're not circulating that water. So is that water treated with anything? So that way it doesn't, I don't know. I think of water sitting in a pipe. It's going to get moldy. It's going to get, it's not going to be like fresh water, but
it's not getting into any oxygen. So it's not getting a thing, and some homes, they will have antifreeze in it.
Okay.
A percentage of antifreeze that will help with that. So, but a lot of homes don't have that antifreeze, and they're just fine because it's, like I said, it's closed system. So you don't have any type of mold occurring.
And by the time that you do turn it on in the fall, it's not going to have that chance of freezing in the pipes because we've turned it on soon enough to start that circulation.
Yes.
So now a hydronic baseboard is a popular choice. And you said in-floor. I see a lot of in-floor concrete, but do you do in-floor with like wooden joists and whatnot? Can a traditionally built home?
Yes, you can. You can do it if you have so you want it on your first floor, because just say you're in your basement in the concrete when you're building it. You can do it on the first floor. You can also revamp your house if you want to. If you have a hydronic heating system and it's a PEX piping, but a HEPEX pipe, so it's for heating, not water.
Okay.
And you put that up in your joist spaces to your first floor, and then you cover it. There's a little panel that's kind of an insulator.
Okay.
And up there, and then you can change that to a heating system, and it'll go through carpet, it'll go through tile.
Nice.
There's no issue with the things. And some people, we've been in a couple homes, they just kept the basic thin layer of it's a thin layer, a gypcrete that they put in when they do it on the first floor. So it's actually in like a type of concrete, but
okay.
I know a lot of that is a heat transfer sort of. So you need something substantial to hold the heat and continue to radiate that off, so you don't get hot spots and whatnot.
Right. But that is a wonderful heating system. It's a little more costly, if you want to say it is, to put in than a forced air system.
Sure.
But you just the benefit of it, of always feeling comfortable when you're going room to room, and you never have like with a forced air system, your temperature drops, and then all of a sudden it kicks in and you get that blast of hot air. And
right.
It shuts off and then start cooling down again until it hits you again.
So how long does a boiler system last? What is its age span?
You can easily get 30 years out of them.
Okay.
Some homes even further, because they do maintain themselves very well.
So as long as it's properly maintained and everything, there should not be
right. It's like with any item you have, whether it be your appliance, appliance, as long as you maintain what you're supposed to be doing to it, things will last longer than if you don't maintain.
But it seems sensible. There's less moving parts than a forced air system, kind of comparatively, with the air moving through everything and getting it dirtier faster and whatnot. This seems to be a smaller, cleaner system almost.
Right.
Also notice with the forced air that a lot of it's relative with humidity as far as air comfort. So with our forced air system being it running so much, especially in the really, really cold parts, it'll take a lot of moisture out of the air and just moving it and blowing it and whatnot.
Yeah.
So
then you have to add a humidifier or whatever to get you some moisture back into the environment.
All right.
So we're in Wisconsin. It's going to get hot. If we've got a hydronic system, how do we deal with air conditioning?
There's a unit that you can put in, and then what they do is they cut holes in your ceiling. Okay. And they're little round holes. They're air vents that come, and then that does blow air down just like a regular system, air conditioning system would.
Okay. Is that like the Mitsubishi?
Well, those hang on a wall.
Okay.
But you can also do those. Those are like a split system, they call them, and you can hang those on the wall and do, depending on how your house is laid out, how many you may need or something.
Do you have like a contractor that you work with to install these? So if they've got you go to a home and, they need their boiler system to be changed out and they want to work with someone to do the air conditioning, do you recommend anybody?
Well, we've worked a lot with Rapid Sheet Metal has done a lot of, I know they do a lot of the split systems for homes that
Okay.
And then they've been in the area a very long time too.
Yes, they have. Yeah.
Great. I noticed one of the houses that another agent in our home sold was over on the golf course, and I believe they had one of your hydronic systems in it.
Yes, they did.
I took a very lovely picture just of the utility room in the basement. It was immaculately done.
Yes, it was. That's kind of what was my folks' house. So
Right.
a little partial to the home, but yes, it was a very nice home, and it did have. It was a thing of beauty to look at that heating system. It really was.
It was. He showed me the pictures. I'm like, that is very beautifully plumbed out.
Yes.
Like, those are beautiful, beautiful lines and everything that they have put in the walls.
You know, some of us are just nerds about being with the mechanical systems. So yeah. They're like, not everybody's going to appreciate that, but let's put it in anyway.
Well, and he was very proud of it too. I mean, he did point it out to you and just, here's my mechanical room.
Do you see anything in the industry that's upcoming to get excited about?
Well, one thing I will tell you that you will see prices going up. COVID has really interacted on pricing, and it's not only in our area because I know it is in the lumber and everything's going up. And also even just PVC and the PEX fittings, which are more popular now almost than copper because the cost difference, but everything's going up because the companies can't get and make the resin. Well, when Houston went down with the ice storms and all that, then the resin became very rare. And now these prices are just shooting up, and some of the companies are putting you on allotments for materials. So
wow,
I hate to say that
it's a plan for additions or plan for things a little bit better
because
and then probably add in extra
because you may pay more. Because like I said, I know that lumber's gone up immensely too, and windows and everything it's just not in the plumbing end. So
are you still though able to get all the parts that you need in? I know for a while, everything was kind of on back order because they were coming from China or they were coming from overseas where, we had a lot of COVID cases where that country just completely shut down. So nothing was coming in, nothing was going out. So are you still able to get some of these parts?
We're still doing pretty well on getting stuff in. I hope that holds up and we don't get cut off on these shipments and that. It's just always hard to tell
right
from day to day. Sometimes companies will be out of an item and I just go on daily trying to watch and see if I can nab it when they get some in. So,
well, that's good. At least we're getting them in.
And we're hearing that from the national level too. So it's definitely, not just in our neck of the woods or the upper Midwest, it's across the country for sure.
Yes.
And then that's also translating into talking with builders and the new builds that are coming up. Some builders, different parts of the country are starting to lose contracts because they have to increase that because their product is increasing. It's out of their control too.
Right. Which becomes then when everything's increased in the home, not just one particular field, then you can really add the cost to a new home. It really goes up immensely.
Well, thanks, Deb, for coming on over.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Good to see you both again, too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Fantastic. That was really, really awesome having Deb from Eron Gee in front of the microphones. I know we have want to do a lot of community stuff, but I think it's really, really cool to get a lot of the industry professionals in as well. I know Deb has been doing it a long time.
Yes, and it's always really good just to have that as a good resource of being able to just talk with them of what they do and things to look out for when once you get that home. This is a concern and maybe we need to keep an eye on this part or that part, and being able to have those conversations ahead of time is always really good.
And you can buy items directly from them, which I thought was really, really awesome. Also to get the feedback that they're in a little bit of a supply chain downslide, so it might be difficult to get certain specialty items and whatnot, and that might be bringing the price of building and remodeling up.
Right. And, just going and shopping around and going past the big box stores and taking a look at some of those smaller mom and pop places that might be able to get you something different, maybe the same price as those of the big box stores, but it's an option out there. And if we don't know about it, then we don't know where to go to ask.
Yeah. And even if you pay just a little bit more, I mean, what's an extra $20 or whatnot? It might not be that bad, or you might find a deal.
Right. And, even with it being a local company, it's going to be something that you definitely can trust and may have a better warranty than the big box stores because they're going to want to make sure that you're taken care of.
And more options too. Perhaps they can order something in a particular color. So if you wanted to create the pink bathroom for your 1960s ranch.
Only if it can come in that clamshell sink.
Right? You mean the seashell that looks like
the seashell.
A big seashell? I wonder if you hold your ear up to it, if you can actually hear the ocean.
I probably can.
So fantastic. Yeah, great to have Deb. Known her for a long time. Like I said, doing the commercial side of things, they helped us out a lot. That was really, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So what's next?
Well, do we want to just kind of jump right on into the market? I know we're going to be having a break coming up here pretty soon, but maybe touching a little bit on the market would be a good idea because we can always follow up with that after the commercial break.
Sure. What is the market looking like? Now, these are pre-recorded shows. So right now it's Wednesday evening, Wednesday the 7th?
7th.
Okay.
Yep. Today is National Health Day. So we're supposed to go do something healthy.
And we did.
We did.
We took walks.
We did. It was a beautiful walk.
It's also National Beer Day. So we have not had our beer yet.
No, but there's still time in the day.
And we also didn't combine the two and have a beer on our walk or walk to the brewery. Although we could, because, Bee's Tap House, we could walk down to the river.
I think that's probably like a 10-mile walk.
It's a little bit longer walk now, yeah, that we moved into the country.
Right. So 20 miles all the way around. I don't know. That almost sounds like we're going to do a full marathon.
No, I'm not up for that. Not even for beer.
Okay.
So how is the market then?
Well, according to our market, so we're looking at active to go take a look at here in the greater Wisconsin Rapids area. We are now up to 20 homes on the market.
It has been exciting being able to see more properties coming online.
And the nice thing is we do have a couple of them that are under that $100,000. We're looking at 2. Well, there's really 4. So we've got the one at the 34.9, 37.9, then the 68.9, and then 92. And then we jump up to 120. So we do have a couple of them under that 100,000. So you do have some options out there. So that's kind of nice to see. And we're even starting to increase a little bit between that 100 to 150. So it's looking like some homes that it's starting to break up. It's starting to get more homes on the market, which is really great for those buyers who are out there looking to purchase something.
Spring is in the air, and I think people are getting excited to finally get out of the house and get it listed and all that springtime activity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we usually see an increase during the springtime market. So eventually we're going to start to see some of those things come online. So it'll be nice to see. And we've got buyers who want to get out there and take a look. And also too, for the sellers who are thinking about listing, now is the time to start having those conversations so that way you can take advantage of the spring market.
Normally, as far as annual sales go, this state and this area, we'll see somewhere about 1,000 or so properties being sold, and we're already 97 from this year until the end of March. So it's going to be another crazy year. I've got a feeling.
It is, and it's going to be one of those we need to be ready as far as buyers go to take a look at, am I ready to buy, and what do I need to do in order to be ready? So if you're taking those steps now, it's going to help you so much in the long run.
Yes, like we've been talking about decluttering and getting things kind of staged a little bit. If you have to do some repainting, now's the time to get the paint out. And, you're going to be packing to move anyway, so it's a good idea to just sort of stage the house ahead of time. One of the topics was staging the house while you're still living in it. And we don't expect people to go out and buy new furniture, but maybe, depending on what it is, if you want to take your furniture that you really, really love, maybe spending a couple bucks on, Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist or something like that, and getting a stand-in piece of furniture for that. That way you don't have to keep moving things, and maybe you anticipate leaving it with the house. Or it could be
just move the furniture around. So if we've got a nice, beautiful hutch in the dining room, but it's making the dining room feel smaller, maybe we take and put that in the living room. Just kind of rearranging the furniture we do have so that way it makes the house feel more welcoming and not so cluttered is an option too. And really taking a look at your home and to see how things are all laid out is really the best way to go.
And even though, I mean, we've heard this in previous blog posts and informational out there that people suggest staging it so it looks good, even though it doesn't necessarily work good for your everyday life, because your everyday life is not going to be at that house anymore. And so it's okay to move things around.
Well, even just the staging for the pictures.
Exactly.
Just, you know, this is going to be for one day while we take the pictures. And then the next day we can put it back to where it was. It might be, again, there's options. And it's one of those things of just sitting down with us to kind of talk about what's best for you and your family.
I know when I take pictures, I often tell the sellers, don't worry about what's in your closet, because unless it's a beautiful walk-in master closet, it's okay to store stuff in there, especially temporarily just for the pictures. So,
and we've seen that happen. We've seen our sellers take and just shove everything into the cupboards. They've forgotten that it was there. And the next day during the showing, we did have, you know, a little bit of an issue, and because we totally forgot about that. And you know, everybody had a good laugh.
Yep.
And the house did get sold, and everyone just kind of had a good laugh about it.
You open up that door and everything comes crashing down. It's hilarious.
Mm-hmm. All right. So if we look at kind of locally, so JR just gave us the numbers this morning as far as locally of how last month looked.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of local numbers, we're looking at, you know, just the regular general residential homes. So we had 94 homes that sold.
Now, was this the first quarter? So
I believe it's our first quarter. Yep.
Right.
I got to check on my dates here. I believe it's the first quarter.
I think when we were talking a week ago, with the end of March had about 40 homes itself that had sold.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, this is first quarter stuff. So, I mean, it's kind of interesting to kind of see, you know, what things are looking at. And even like our days on market, we're only looking at 76 days on market.
Yeah, which is really, really maybe improved, but it's certainly a lot faster than it was a year ago even.
Mm-hmm. And even our average sale price of, you know, sold is $141,846. So we're out that 142,000.
Right. And again, that's average. So that takes into account everything in the spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes we talk about median prices, and that median price is the middle of the road, where average is the average. So it takes in all the, you know, the high and the low. So if you had an unusual amount of low priced homes or high priced homes, that skews that average a little bit.
It does, just a little bit.
But still, I think when we looked at March, our median price was in the 134,000 range. So this 142,000 range for an average, it's very comparable.
So if we kind of look year over year, I always kind of enjoy taking a look at these. So it's this time last year, and I'm looking at vacant land. So vacant land, 1 year ago, we had 6 vacant lands sold.
Okay.
I know. Currently, we have 36.
For this first quarter?
Yes. So that is a lot of extra vacant land.
So the first 3 months of last year, which was before the pandemic really set in, we had 6 vacant lands.
We had 6 vacant lands.
And this year, even though, you know, seasonally we think the wintertime is slow, but, you know, with those days on market and land moves sometimes a little bit faster, sometimes a little bit slower. As far as, you know, from the offer to purchase to the closing, it depends on the circumstance.
I was going to say, yeah, some of ours are still 30 days out, depending upon if there's a loan or not. So, I mean, we've had some that have closed in 2 weeks, and we've had some that has taken a little bit longer only due to the loan.
But having this high of quantity of land being sold here in the first 3 months of 2021, that's astounding. And along with as many homes as we've had sold as well is also astounding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, we're looking at, you know, need a place to put the camper. And we've had a lot of people start saying, I haven't been able to find a house in a year. Let's just find that piece of vacant land and I'll work with a builder and we'll build what we want, because we're just not finding it. So there's lots of reasons why we're having such a huge increase of vacant land.
People are looking toward the future, and the consensus amongst the builders that I've talked to recently here is that they're not really taking on contracts that would be finished even this year. They're looking to next year and the year after, at least starting the basic conversations of what is the process, what do you have to offer, what's our plan, and what floor plans do we want, all those things. Because it's going to be a lengthy conversation at this point without knowing the prices of things.
Very true. Well, and it kind of leads into our kind of what's going on with us. So in a couple of weeks, so on April 24th, I want to double check the date here. April 24th is we're going to be doing an open house at some of our vacant land that we have listed. So we've got 13 lots that are listed up for sale. So we're working on getting a list of builders together and talking to them a little bit about builders, what we can do and not do on these parcels that we have up for sale. So we're going to be over at our vacant land on 21st Avenue coming up here in 2 weeks. And we're going to be out there checking, meeting people, and come on out to check out some vacant land.
And talk about perhaps building on it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, these parcels of land that we have available there on 21st are almost ready to build. You got to do some land clearing, but the city services are right up to the curbside.
Right. So we have two that are on 21st Avenue, and they have the city sewer and water ready to the lot line, which is great. That's one thing that we always want to look at. And then we also have a few others that is just they're on a dirt road. It's not a road that has been developed yet. So there's a little bit added extra cost into that as far as purchasing those. But again, if it's a neighbor who wants to extend their land, maybe not having the road in there is a concern for them.
Or if you're looking at, you want to be a savvy investor, you're curious about investing in real estate, this might be a way to get your foot in the door, get that land in your possession, and perhaps starting to get paid off in the next year or so, and then looking at a development and working with the city for these developing these parcels. They're not huge parcels over on 22nd Avenue. I think they're only 0.13, if I remember right.
I think it was 1.8.
Okay. They're still less than a quarter acre.
Yeah, they're small lots, but we're going to be selling them into 2 lots together. So that way that you have a decent lot in order to build a home on.
And then working with the city on just the zoning and the restrictions on how to put a specific size house on those specific size lot. Yeah, it's going to take a little bit of a marathon, but if someone's got the gusto to, play it out, this could be a real good thing for them.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we're going to be over there on the 24th. I'm not too sure on the time. I want to say it's at 11 o'clock. We're going to be there from 11 to 2 or 11 to 3, something like that. But we're going to be over there. We're going to talk about it next week when I actually have everything kind of nailed out, because we're doing a Meet the Coldwell Banker Agents on the 23rd, 24th. So I'm going to tease you with a little bit of that. We're going to tell you a little bit more next week as far as what this is going to look like.
So it's not just going to be us doing a thing. We're coordinating this with the rest of our office, right?
Correct.
So the other agents in our office are also going to be out doing their thing on the same day, and you can kind of tour around and get to meet everybody at different locations.
Right. And there's going to be prizes yet too on top of it.
Ooh.
I know. So I don't want to give away too many details, but for sure, we're going to be over there on 21st Avenue, and we're going to take a look at some vacant land.
Well, that's exciting. It's really going to open up people's options.
Mm-hmm.
I know housing is a challenge right now for everybody. The rental situation is also a little bit of a challenge. It's expensive, and it's a little bit more expensive, and it's been harder to evict people for the usual reasons. So they're going to be staying around. And the rental options are pretty much filled up around the area as well.
Yeah, and we're trying to keep the buyers that we do have happy with. It's getting to that point where there's not enough of an inventory to keep buyers looking. They're just kind of sitting there going, now what? Well, we're working on this. We're trying to get some more homes on the market, and we just kind of keep you all kind of a little posted. And
it's not just our office either. It's all the agents around. And I know they're getting active too. I mean, just our weekly staff meeting here on Wednesdays, the rumbling going around is there's a lot of listing appointments, and people are getting excited again to list their house.
Mm-hmm. And we just kind of look at our buyers and just do keep working with your bank, keep the credit where it needs to be, or you can continue working on your credit to maybe get into a different price range. And that way, when the house does come available, you're ready to go.
Yeah. Using this time to financially set up for the fast pace. Let's write an offer. Let's get everything done, ready, sorted out to go in a month or two. Yeah, that's really going to get a lot of those buyers in the right position to get that first grab, the really good offer writing on their behalf, and really give them the best chance to get into a house.
Mm-hmm. How are we looking for time?
We got another 10 minutes on this hour.
Oh, okay. Well, and too, with writing those offers, we're starting to have some of our buyers think outside the box of what a normal offer would look like. So we've done, we've seen online a couple places where, they post the picture of the offer of, let's pay for the Netflix.
Oh, the funny ha-has.
Yeah, funny ha-has, we'll pay for your Netflix if you, pick us. And we're not suggesting that to anybody, but kind of looking at things and going, what would you like to do?
We'll pay for your full year of dog food for your pet, a spa package. We'll throw in the spa package so that, no. We can't quite do that.
I don't think we can.
No, but it's funny to think that's where the market is.
It is. And when there's, 5 offers sitting on the table of trying to make your offer look good is one of those things where having that conversation with the family to see what they're willing to do and what they're not willing to do. I know the number one thing that in our office that has been going around is talking about not doing that home inspection.
Which is a double-edged sword as well. Or putting the home inspection as a non-contingent item in the offer.
No, just for buyers' personal knowledge of, the home is at this level and here are the concerns, or these are things that we can work on as far as a repair. So what does the electrical look like? Do we need to change out some outlets to a GFCI eventually? Those sort of items, or where the plumbing is, that sort of thing. There's a lot of things that you learn about when you have a home inspection done, because those home inspectors spend about 3 hours crawling around the house, and they go into every single nook and cranny and take like 200 pictures of the home.
Now, one of the humorous ones I found on the internet was the home inspection, and he found an Easter egg from the kids who were supposed to pick up the Easter eggs.
Mm-hmm.
And he labeled it as unfound Easter egg in location. Suggested parents give clues like warmer, you're getting colder, and it's around the corner. So yeah, they're kind of funny. But the home inspectors do a very good job.
They do.
And it's really a good way to create some insight into what your home is going to be like for you, and start planning, that month ahead while the process is still going on, of what lumber do I have to buy, what fixtures need to be replaced.
It might even be, here's the valley of your roof. So when the snow and the wind and everything, you might get a lot of snow drift up here on the roof. So it's not just, it goes a little bit beyond, they'll talk about the different seasons of, making sure water management, I think, is our favorite one to talk about, of just kind of controlling that water, making sure you got your gutters, and then the extension so it goes further out and keeps away from the foundation. So it goes well beyond what most people think of a home inspection would be.
That can also get confusing because there is so much advice given in the home inspection. The inspectors really want to focus on education and making sure that you as the buyer are educated on what you're getting. Sometimes it sounds overwhelming, and it may be thought of as, oh my goodness, there's so much going on. The place is a death trap, and I'm surprised anyone's actually lived here. But it's usually not that bad. It's just the good amount of information that's given can be sometimes overwhelming.
There are many times it is a little overwhelming, and when you get handed, it's nice that it comes in an email. So it's not like you get handed a ream of paper, but when you start to print off a 200-page document of your home inspection, and I think that was probably the largest one that we have seen on one of our listings. It was very in-depth, and just they went through the whole entire home of, this is a concern, this is a safety issue, this is all good. So, I mean, they've got that range of what they're looking for. And it was a fairly large house, so hence why it was such a big piece of document by the time that we got it all printed off. So that way we could go through it with the homeowner of, this is what they found, and you bring out a ream of paper.
And not all those items are classified as defects, especially right now. there is a move to the home inspector to actually themselves qualify what is a defect under a certain qualification process, a stringent list of this is what is going to qualify as a defect. Right now, it's a little bit more broad as being health and safety issues or a serious detriment to the value of the property.
Mm-hmm.
And through the process of the home inspection, if it is a contingency, we may ask for things to be fixed that are kind of in that gray area where, the buyer feels that it would kind of be a detriment to the house. They may just ask for a price reduction or they may ask it to be fixed. But I think one of the tactics on the buyer's side of writing a good offer later on is with the home inspection, understanding what's a good thing to be repaired by a licensed contractor versus something that can be repaired well and in a good workmanlike manner by the homeowner, and putting that language in the amendments once we're dealing with the home inspection. Very true, because there are some things that yes, the homeowner can do. I think our favorite one to point out with this is the outlet covers. If there's an outlet that doesn't have a cover on it for one reason or another, we don't need a licensed electrician to install an outlet cover. The homeowner can do that. He can go get the 39-cent outlet cover as long as the outlet cover matches the outlet, and then just screw it on. So, again, families with small children and you've got those wires exposed, kids like to poke things. So putting an outlet cover on is something that we wouldn't really want a licensed electrician to do. The homeowner can do. The flexible accordion pipe for the waste on sinks is another catchy one. And it might not be that the current homeowner did this as a repair. It could have been the previous homeowner to them. Right. And maybe they didn't have home inspection, but now the new buyer coming in has the inspection and is seeing this flexible pipe on the waste of your kitchen sink being an issue. Okay, it's maybe not the best way to do it, but it's serviceable. So a good workmanlike manner repair is to replace that with solid pipe. And if the homeowner is handy enough, that could be something that the homeowner would be, competent enough to do. Right. So kind of taking a look at that home inspection and sitting down with the buyer and just going, okay, what is important? What isn't important? And what can we do to make the home safe? And also then with the seller too, that, we're not installing a brand new dishwasher because it's nearing the end of its service life. It's nearing the end of its life. Mm-hmm. It's, there's just some things that, there are lines. We like to talk about them so that way we don't have too many disagreements. So having those contracts go back and forth of just trying to iron out a few things sometimes is needed. And sometimes if we can do it logistically the first time, it's a little bit easier. And again, we're focused on education ourselves. So educating our clients is where we're going to go first. Well, that's going to wrap up pretty much our hour one. So come back and visit with us again for hour two. We'll be talking a little bit more about the market and some other highlights about the community and what to expect in real estate around Wisconsin Rapids. All right. See you in a bit.